Stopping by and welcome to the channel. In today's video will be part 2 of our bus tour of Havana, Cuba. So right now we're going to be on our way to Fortress of San Carlos de la Cabana to visit the Cigar and Rum shop.
Now we appreciate not to have to walk after lunch, right? Exactly, it's too hot. And then when we finish the sightseeing, the panoramic of New Havana, then we come back here to Old Havana for the free time. Look at those cars, guys. Look at that.
Look at that.
Remember what I told you about the Spanish embassy earlier in this tour? It's this building here in front of us. Look to your left. Look to your left. See how crowded? So this is the Spanish embassy. That's a building that was built in 1912. So there is where the Cubans, they go to do the papers to get this, their things, passport for the citizenship, Spanish citizenship. Yeah. Cabana has even more hotels than Paradero, actually. Oh no, hotels in Havana are not all inclusive, guys. No, they are, like plans, that you pay for your room and it's only breakfast. Things like that, exactly. And Havana has no beaches either. So the people that come here, they come for city holidays, not for beach holidays. Just come back here. If somebody prefers to stay here, that doesn't interested in the store, you can stay in the bus. But this focus now is kind of empty, it's used just for the ceremony of the candle every night at 9 o'clock. Also we have the office of Che Guevara, because after the revolution we have his headquarters right there inside our fortress. And it's also used every year in the month of February for the International Book Fair, recently celebrated in Havana. Okay, so that's an event that is and that one over there. And those cannons, if you lose your flight ticket to Canada, we can put you in there.
Now we're entering the Cigar and Rum shop.
Okay, children, over here, Mom is here. Guys, it's my pleasure to introduce you to the guy that made the record Guinness of the longest cigar in the world. He's Cueto, okay? You can see his pictures all over the store, the Guinness records on this side as well. And after you finish the shopping, you can go to the left that way and you will see all the cigars he made. including the 80 and the 90 meters that is on the wall in that room. Okay? So you see, these are the tobacco, you know, the tobacco leaves that he uses as a raw material, as everybody uses in the factory to make the cigars. Okay? The rum is over there. According to the Cuban man, is the best one. And the one thing for Chilean cigars is the California again. To stay on the bus for about 45 minutes approximately before the free time. Okay? So relax, enjoy the view, because it's going to be the panoramic part now. Okay?
Now we're going through the tunnel back under the bay to downtown Havana.
Okay, my dear, so remember to have your cameras or phones on so you can take pictures. We're going to slow down in places that might be interesting for you. First place that I will show you here on the left, the building with the dome. Former Presidential Palace, today Revolution Museum. That was the house of all presidents we had till 1959. The last one who lived there, of course, was Batista. The military tank you see on the left side was used by Fidel Castro during the attack of the Bay of Pigs in 1962, sorry. And the piece of wall you see right next to the tank on the left, it was part of a big wall that protected Havana once from the attack of the pirates, which gates closed every evening at 8 o'clock after a cannon shot. That's why the ceremony that we celebrate today of the cannon shot. So right behind this building that is on restoration right now, that houses the Revolution Museum, we have the Grandma Memorial. Take a look inside the glass case on the left. What can you see in there? The boat. Well, that's the boat, the original one used by Fidel Castro, Che Guevara, Raul Castro. 82 men came in that boat from Tuxpan, Mexico. Remember the history I told you? Remember all the weapons we had, they were from Russia. Planes, tanks, everything. So we are in Central Havana. Central Havana is the name of this neighborhood where we are right now. Central Havana, we have hotels, we have the Central Park, we have the Capitol building. Like in the States, in the 20s, in Havana were built the Capitol the Central Park and the Fifth Avenue. That is on the western part of the city. So the buildings on both sides of the bus, the one on the left, the yellow one, is the Plaza Hotel. The brown one on your right is the Iberostar Central Park Hotel. The one across the street to your left is used to be a shopping mall, was restored and turned into a huge hotel, as you can see. And right in front of us we have the Central Park. The building, the blue one on the right, is another hotel that is called Telegrafo. So here in the Central Park on the right, in the center, we have the statue of Jose Marti, our national hero. Remember I mentioned it before, the one that organized the Second War of Independence in Cuba. So this is the Central Park. And I will show you. You see the building on the right, the one in the corner with the beautiful statues and all that? Actually, that's my favorite building. It's the Great Theater of Havana, built in 1915, houses the National Ballet of Cuba. So right here to your right side, we have the Capitol building, which is the biggest building we have here in Havana, built between 1926 and 1929. Houses the National Assembly of People's Power, that is what you call Parliament back home. And also we have in here, in the lobby, a huge statue that represents the Republic of Cuba. It has a big statue of bronze. You can see it, half door open. The two statues outside, the one on the right represents maternity, motherhood, and the one on the left represents work and strength. So this is where we have our parliament right now. The building you see destroyed in the corner on the left was a painful tragedy we had the last year. This used to be a beautiful hotel. It's called Saratoga. And the day before reopening the doors, the workers were cleaning, preparing everything to open the doors again of the hotel next day. But there was a truck with gas that when they were, supplying the hotel with gas, there was a pipe in bad conditions that made the whole building explode. And 46 people died. Most of them workers of the hotel. Now we are going to turn left, but if you look to your right, you can see a wall that crosses the street that marks the entrance of the former Chinatown in Havana. On the right. So I don't know if you watch this kind of movies, but the last part of the movie, the famous movie Fast and Furious, the first scenes of the movie, they were shot here in Havana. And there are two streets used for the, for the first scenes of the movie, that is the race. One was this one where we are right now. And the other one is the Seafront Avenue, that is the one we are going to take to go back to Havana, to Old Havana. the right houses the Minister of the Interior, that used to be the Minister of Industries before the beginning of the revolution. And as you can see, there is an image of Che Guevara, the Argentinian. To the right, we have a tower. The tower on the right side is the highest point in Havana. It's a tower made of gray marble. In the center there is a lift that takes you all the way to the top, where there is a lookout point, and on the ground part is the museum of Jose Marti, who is the man in the statue on white marble in front of the tower. So right next in front of that tower, of that statue, is where Fidel used to stand up to pronounce the speeches when we had important days in Cuba. 500,000 people that used to gather here in this big square. On the left, we have the Minister of Telecommunications, and the face of the person you see is Camilo Cienfuegos, another Cuban who fought for the revolution and who he disappeared actually on the first years of the revolution. The building on the right across the street in front of us is the Minister of Defense, and is there where Raul Castro works. And the building that you will see here on the left side now when we turn, the small one across the street, is the National Library. Could you take the pictures, or you still want to stop? Stop or continue? Everybody wants to continue? Okay, guys. You see what I told you about lazy Canadians? You see? Mommy knows you. What place is that? The quietest place in Havana?
Cemetery?
That's right. The cemetery. Here to the left, we have the main cemetery of Havana. Havana has 5 cemeteries. This one is the biggest one, near 5 kilometers squares, near 2 million people buried there. The Colón Cemetery was founded in the year 1871. Since the very beginning was divided into classes, and most of the tombs, the material used in the tombs and monuments was mostly granite and marble. So this area where we are right now, the name of this neighborhood is Vedado. Vedado in English means forbidden, because it was actually forbidden by the Spanish at the time of the colonization to build in this area, because they didn't want that that the high buildings interrupted the side of the ocean, so they could see the pirate ships approaching the city and defend themselves. So that's why the buildings you're seeing right now, since we started doing the New Havana, they all were built between the 1900s to 1950s. Most of them. Because we have some hotels that have been built, after the revolution here in this area. But all the buildings you see right now, at least in this area, they are from those years. Here, the bench. Take a look there. You see that bench there? Do you see a statue that is there? Who do you think is that? John Lennon.
Right there.
Yeah, that's the statue of John Lennon. It's called like that, the John Lennon Park.
Cardiovascular.
The turban, the skirt, the shirt, everything. See that? So that's a type of religion we have here in Cuba, which is called Santeria, very popular religion. That's is actually the result of the mixture between Catholic and Voodoo. That was created by the African slaves because when the Spanish started the illegal traffic of Africans to Cuba to work as a free labor, remember, in the plantations of sugarcane, they used to force the slaves to be Catholics. However, the African religion at the time was that kind called of voodoo, where they used to worship their gods by using objects because they had no image for, like a face for their gods. So what the slaves used to do, they used to hide these objects behind the Catholic saints they were forced to worship, and pretended were worshiping the Catholic saints when actually were worshiping the things they hid behind. By doing so, they start mixing both religions. So during the first year of initiation of this kind of religion called Santeria, that doesn't have a church where they have our temples at home, the person must dress up all in white, like that lady, for all over a year. So it's like they are becoming saint or like getting born again. That's what it means for them. For 1 year, they have to wear just white and take the less sun possible as well, which is hard in Cuba, not to take too much sun. You see that beautiful building on the hill to your right? That looks like a castle? Well, that's one of the symbols of the hotels in Havana. It's called the National Hotel. That hotel was built in the year 1930. And it was one of the favorite places of the mob, because all this area where we are right now was full of casinos, lots of gambling. So that hotel has a space in the lobby, one of the corners, that is called the Hall of Fame, where you can see photographs of personalities that have stayed in that hotel since the time it was built. So you can see pictures of residents, actors, actresses, people of the mob like Mayor Lansky, well, different kinds of personalities since the time it was founded. And here to the left we have the seafront. You know, the seafront is, you really cannot talk about Havana without talking about the seafront, because it's tradition for the people to come here, take the sun, read a book, come for a walk. Musicians come to practice some musical instruments, a lot of fishermen also you can see. So it is an entertainment place for the people to come here. Look at the school children, primary school, that's the uniform color, the red one. So that's the uniform from preschool to 6th grade. And the kerchief, it is from 4th grade on, 4th to 6th. Otherwise it's blue, the kerchief. The high building you see on the right side, the tall one, is one of the main hospitals in Havana. It's called the Almeida Brothers Hospital. This is where they make the heart surgeries. where you get off, same place where you take the bus back. Okay? By the police station. This street has like umbrellas in the street and people sitting in the street. Can you see that? Okay. That's the, I would say the only place basically that you can find like washrooms to go before we leave. Okay? That's the bar. Okay? And you go inside, there is a big space there and you can sit down and have a beer or a mojito or a lemonade or whatever. And use the washroom too. And then after that, when you get to the corner, that's the Cathedral Square. The Cathedral Square. All this wall, almost all this wall after the first block is the cathedral. But anyways, I'm gonna walk you there. Okay? So.
Here you can use the washroom.
There's one block from where we are going to take the bus, okay? So, here
I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, like, share, leave a comment. I hope to see you in our next video.
Thank you, beautiful country.